I'm glad to be able to say that Brittney's in good spirits. She's relieved to finally be heading home.
President Joe Biden, standing alongside Brittney Griner's wife, announced that after months in Russian custody, the basketball star is now free.
And today it's just a happy day for me and my family, so I'm going to smile right now.
In February, Russian authorities arrested Griner at an airport with a small amount of prescription cannabis in a vape cartridge. She was eventually sentenced to 9 years in a Russian penal colony. And throughout the entire ordeal, Arizona Congressman Greg Stanton worked for her release.
Our friend, our fellow American who has unjustly spent almost 300 days in Russian custody, including recently in a penal colony, our friend is coming home, and it's a beautiful day for her wife, Phoenix, all of Phoenicians, and all of America.
Griner's release was part of a prisoner swap with Victor Bout, a convicted Russian arms dealer whose nickname is the Merchant of Death. Because of that, the trade drew criticism from some on the right, like the former Republican candidate for governor, Kari Lake.
If you told me we're going to release you for this guy, I would maybe say, you know what? Let me stay a little bit longer, keep working on that negotiation. Let's see if we can find something a little bit more level.
Others criticized the White House because the exchange did not include Paul Whelan, another American the State Department said is wrongfully detained in Russia. The White House was clear the Russians would not negotiate for Whelan's release at this time. Arizona Congressman Ruben Gallego defended Biden against his critics.
Look, these are the decisions you have to make when you're president, and basically it was a take it or leave it moment, and he was presented with a situation where either he was going to get no American home.
And obviously, Gallego was also very pleased to hear of Griner's release. He told me that he and the rest of the Democrats in Arizona's congressional delegation actually learned that her release was imminent on Tuesday when they all flew with Biden to Arizona on Air Force One.
Yeah, and today's news, you got to admit, is kind of bittersweet with Paul Whelan being left out of today's prisoner swap. So in a phone interview earlier today, he said he's happy Brittney is home, but does not understand why he is still imprisoned in Russia. Take a listen.
This is a precarious situation that needs to be resolved quickly. And I would hope that he and his administration would do everything they could to get me home, regardless of the price they might have to pay at this point.
What else did the White House say about Whelan today?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of questions because there was a press release. Obviously, President Biden did a press conference earlier today with Brittney Griner's wife. There was a press conference later at the White House with that, and a lot of questions revolved around him. And basically what the White House is saying is like, look, we didn't have any options here. Russia was not willing to negotiate when it came to Paul Whelan. He wasn't on the table. At this point, it was all about, you can, get Brittney Griner home or nobody else. Now, they did say that they're going to keep up their efforts to try to get Whelan, who's a former Marine. They wanted to get him home. No word yet on any chance of when that might happen. But again, they kept saying we're going to continue to negotiate and try to make that happen.
Oh, Dennis, thank you so much for that perspective. And now we want to check in with
Mark McClune. Yeah, Mark McClune's in the studio with us with reaction from the Phoenix Mercury. Mark, the team has been waiting for this moment.
Yeah, certainly discussing it the entire offseason, the season, like the rest of us, though. The Mercury organization waking up to the news today, not giving a heads up this was coming, but no doubt a banner day down at the Footprint Center in downtown Phoenix as BG is coming home. This is the video board at the Footprint Center, proudly displaying the fact that Griner is coming home, detained for 294 days, the entire WNBA season. The last time we saw her on the floor for the Mercury was the WNBA Finals in 2021. The Mercury do not have a lot of answers at this point about what the future looks like, but president of the organization, Vince Kozar, was able to communicate with Griner while she was detained.
Yeah, so we were able to write letters, and she was able to write back. And so we corresponded a fair bit while she was gone. I'd say 3 or 4 letters. And I always tell people she still sounded like BG. She still sounded like herself. She spent those letters asking about other people.
Do you have a feel about basketball-wise at all?
Yeah, it's funny because I used to feel guilty talking about basketball in terms of BG because, you know, her basic humanity was at stake. I sort of learned along the way that basketball was one of the things that was taken away from her. I mean, it's central to who she is. It's one of her great loves. It's how she impacts the world. Every letter I got from her talked about hooping.